Hi and welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about the early history of what is now Great Britain. This is not intended to be an in-depth university level lecture. It is more of an overview to help those of you studying for the Life in the UK test. It is not intended to be a replacement for the handbook that you have for the Life in the UK test. It's more of an addition to that in case having someone tell you about the history is easier than reading it for yourself. You should still refer to the handbook for your test. This is the sixth in a series of short videos covering different times in British history. If you missed the others, you may wish to watch those first, starting with the Stone Age. If you're ready, let's find out about the Normans. As always, let's have a look at some of the difficult words first. To invade is a word we came across in the video about the Romans. It means to arrive in a country, to conquer it. A successor is the person who replaces someone. King Charles III was the successor to Queen Elizabeth II. To claim means to demand something or to ask for it in a forceful way. You may wish to pause the video now so that you can match the words to the definitions before the answers appear. And here are the answers. Listen carefully to the following information and try to answer the questions on your screen. 1066 is probably the most famous date in British history. But what is it all about? Well, it was the last time that England was successfully invaded. When Edward the Confessor died in January 1066, he named Harold Godwinson as his successor. However, there were other people who believed they had a claim to the English throne. Harold Hardrada of Norway and Duke William of Normandy. Harold Hardrada, accompanied by Tostig, who was Harold Godwinson's brother, landed with his army in the north to claim the English throne. Harold Godwinson learned of his arrival and marched his own army up north to meet them. He surprised Harold Hardrada by arriving much sooner than anybody thought possible, and he defeated him at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, where both Tostig and Harold Hardrada were killed. Now let's look at the next set of difficult words that you will hear. Earlier in the video, we learned to claim, meaning to demand, but I'm afraid it also has another meaning. In the next section, you will hear claim meaning demand, but it also means to say that something is true. Exhausted means really, really tired. Engaged with means went to war with or fought against. Gradually means a little bit at a time. You may wish to pause the video here so that you can match the words to the definitions before the answers appear. And here are the answers. Now listen to this account of the Norman invasion and decide whether these statements are true or false. A few days later, Duke William of Normandy landed in the south of England with his army of about 8,000 Normans. Duke William claimed that Edward the Confessor had promised him the throne, and also that Harold Godwinson had promised his support in claiming it. Harold Godwinson learned of William's arrival in England, and he quickly marched his army back down south to meet them. However, his army were obviously exhausted from the battle at Stamford Bridge and from the long march back down south. Harold and his army engaged with the Normans at the Battle of Hastings, and he died in this battle. There is a famous piece of needlework known as the Bayeux Tapestry, which tells the story of this battle. It can still be seen in Bayeux, in Normandy, in France. Duke William was crowned King William of England on Christmas Day 1066 at Westminster Abbey. This was the beginning of the current monarchy. William is known nowadays as William the Conqueror. Because the new king and all the noblemen spoke French, this had an influence on the English language. We still have many words in the language today which originally came from French. The invasion of Wales was much slower than that of England. The Normans gradually conquered parts of Wales, but they met with fierce resistance from the Welsh princes, who slowly claimed the land back. As for the invasion of Scotland, although there was some fighting on the border between England and Scotland, that was all. The Normans never managed to invade. On Christmas Day, 1086, William ordered a list to be made of every piece of land in the country and how much it was worth. It took just under 2 years to complete, and it is known today as the Domesday Book. Let's just summarise those main points. 1066 was the last time England was successfully invaded. William of Normandy defeated King Harold at the Battle of Hastings. Harold was killed and William became King of England. William is known today as William the Conqueror. William and the army he brought with him are known as the Normans. The Normans didn't manage to invade Scotland. The Normans invaded Wales, but they couldn't keep control of the country. The Normans spoke French, and this had an influence on the English language. The Normans listed all the places in England, as well as who lived there and how much the places were worth. This list is called the Domesday Book. The Bayeux Tapestry tells the story of the Battle of Hastings. I hope you found that useful. You may wish to listen again, but if you feel confident, look out for the next videos where we'll talk about the Middle Ages. I look forward to welcoming you back very soon.